TG Geeks, episode 34, August 17th, 2015. There are more people to squeeze around a table? Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery. Sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane, and we're coming to you from the surface of the sun at TG Squared Studios, or that's Valley of the Sun, Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. And I'm Ben Raggington, still wishing he were in lovely San Diego. And why is that?
Because this week we have part 2 of our interview that we did in San Diego with the cast of Origin Beyond the Impact. Now, this group of people that we interviewed the second time is the next generation of the cast. They will be featured in what is called a FEB series, or a film/web series. Jeff Patton, the director, also sat in on this set of interviews to give us his insight into these actors and their characters. Once again, we jumped right into the interview, so here we go. Who are these people, Jeff, that we have sitting in front of us?
Okay, so these people are our next batch of BTI cast members who are playing pretty much predominantly our military personnel, with the exception of 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Everybody else are pilots or have some sort of connection. I'm going to try not to do too many reveals because, I want the audience to try to figure some of this stuff out. But you're looking at a pretty intense group of people outside of the pilots who have some pretty interesting backstories that I hope you guys love when you see the next script.
Right. So what we want to do with this group, as we did with the last group, just give us your name and maybe the character that you play, and how did you come by the part? How did you audition for the part? What was it that...
How did you get pulled into this?
How did you get pulled into this? So, and then we also have...
Susan's coming back.
Susan's coming back.
Yay!
And we have Mike, the first assistant director.
Yes.
So he's going to join us. And why don't we start with Mike?
I'm Michael Evans. I'm the first AD, and Etch Motions, I'm part of a partner in the Etch Motions and part of the producing team.
Cool.
And he's my work spouse.
There we go.
There you go.
That always works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Works quite well.
All right. So let's start right over here. And
My name is Melissa Stevens, and I am playing Captain Stephanie Steele. And I heard about the part through my acting class that I go to, Robert Wald. And I also knew through going to the class some of the other characters or the other cast members that were a part of the part 1 of Beyond the Impact. And so I submitted and went in for an audition with Jeff, and he cast me as the role.
Sounds like you guys were all in the same class.
yeah, or
Really
Yeah.
does.
It's a small community.
Yes, apparently so.
Yes,
well,
it is.
That's cool. That is really cool. So,
My name is Amber Kaiser. I am playing the role of Paige. I found out about BTI when Jeff and Mike approached me after an acting class showcase that was back in March. And I'm very excited about it. I didn't know anything about it, and I watched the series or the episodes, and I was stoked to be approached by them. So
that's great.
yeah.
She's a special person.
Yeah. So,
Hi, my name is Danielle Barzilai, and I am playing Captain Jordan, a.k.a. River Call Name Vittori. I was also discovered at a showcase with Amber, and I'm super excited to be on this project. Jeff is an amazing person to work with, and so far we've been building my character, and it has been a dream so far, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes forward.
I need to point something out here. There's a story behind this one.
okay. Was she a waitress as well?
You know what?
As a matter of fact.
As a matter of fact, she was supposed to be a waitress in the series. See, I'm big on the military thing, and as Origin's original story surrounds the test pilot community after we get past the prequel series that we're working on.
Right.
I mean, they run in parallel, but a lot of the transitions for the actual feature film goes more onto the military side at some point. And when Danielle came on, we were going to have her be working at Esther's bar as as one of the waitresses. And then we decided we were going to transition her to be, the daughter of a famous geologist. I just couldn't, I worked it out and she had options. But then a couple of roles came up that I filled. One of them went to Robbie here, who you'll meet. And then there was a pilot role. And it was very interesting because there's a certain, I'm gonna be brave here. Okay. There's a certain stereotype, I think, that goes along with when you watch, pilot movies and in the military and stuff. And when I looked at Danielle, I thought to myself, it would be really interesting to take someone that people didn't expect and turn them into something that they didn't see. If you typecast Danielle and you watch her performance, the first thing you think automatically is she's one of the girls that hangs out at the bar. She's one of the girls that says like all the time. I've got that problem. But I thought it was going to be an interesting challenge. I felt that going through the first half of BTI was that first hill of my learning phase. I wanted to challenge myself, and I wanted to challenge Danielle to take on the role as a pilot. And at first, I told you you're gonna have to cut your hair, because
He did say that.
And the first thing I didn't even talk her into it. I said, hey, you know what? You think you want to be a pilot? And she's like, oh yeah, that's unexpected. Sure. And she's all, I'm all actress. I want to be an actress. I'm gonna be an actress. I'm an actress. I'm a professional actress. Yeah, until they ask you to cut your hair. Then all of a sudden she's like, wait, what?
Yeah, what?
She's like, I'm not cutting anything. What ended up happening was, I told Danielle, she went home, she thought about it, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And then I said, okay, so you're going to have to cut your hair a little bit. No, wait, what? I'm not cutting my hair. She's like, are you kidding me? She's like, no, that's a no. And, and then I said, okay, you're going to have to cut your hair. And so she said, all right, I'm going to Israel and I'll cut it when I get there. Well, that's in 3 weeks. I need to know now. So I told Jessica, I said, Jessica, I need you to give Danielle a call at her house early, or just text her and let her know, hey, we're going to, cut your hair this weekend. We're going to straighten it. We're going to cut it. So I get a call, I think at 8:15. She's asleep. Jeff, I just got a call from Jessica, and I'm like really upset right now because she's telling me we're going to I'm going to your house, and we're going to cut my hair. And I said, well, I thought we talked about this. She's like, yeah, but it's a process. It's a process. You have to do these things in stages.
It is a process.
So I told Danielle, I said, listen, if you're going to do this, and you can take your other role, that's fine, because at the end of the day, to respect and understand the uniform and for those people to believe you're an actress. You're gonna have to. If I'm not asking you to do anything inappropriate, if I'm not asking you to do anything that changes, from an inappropriate perspective, if you're telling me you're here to do something, then do that thing. Because I guarantee you, when I tell you I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. Right?
So did you go cut her hair?
She cut her hair. As a matter of fact, she straightened her hair. But the story before that was she went home, and then she came back. She did an audition as a pilot, and it was terrible. And then I said, okay, I need you to come back and try this again. She comes back, and it was the craziest thing I'd ever seen. She blew the doors off the house. She was someone that I had never met before. And she kept telling me before she was doing, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, I've heard the hair. It's great. Love you. You'll probably end up being that geologist. That's fine.
Right.
No, man. She came back and she exceeded my expectations. And it's just wonderful because the person that we had before her was a wonderful person. Okay. She took another direction, and that's fine. She had her own personal things. We kind of did our thing. But it was kind of like a whole different perspective when you see somebody come through the door and they take your words literally and they show you that this is what they want to do. I'm not saying I don't get it from everyone else, but I have to say from an extreme perspective, that is the most extreme, dedication that I've seen from somebody, because at that point I realized that what you're telling me is it's so. Right. This is what you want to do. Some people come in the door and they're already they already give you that impression. Everybody here is giving me that impression, but to see that change, it's a different vibe.
Yeah, she didn't only earn that position; she pushed everything out of the way and just took that part, and was amazing. I got to see the final rehearsal, and she just nailed it. I came up to her and congratulated her because I've seen her in 2 other projects where she's a Valley girl.
Yeah.
And, and the first time I met her, I walked up to her and said, "You're not a Valley girl, are you? Because I've only seen you as a Valley girl." And she goes, "No,
exactly.
I'm typecasted." Well, this character is not only going to blow the Valley girl out of her, typecasting, it's going to open doors because she nailed it, and she is amazing. And I'm one of the characters I'm looking forward to the most to see what we get from that. Because
it's unexpected, and it's not a bad thing. And for everyone here, don't get me wrong, everyone here, because of the community that we're building with this group, it's going to be great. But the way that I wrote this character was, the character's been split into 2 now. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but the way that I wrote the character is I can already see the type of attention, the type of you will have a following. And with that type of dedication, you're going to break stereotypes, because it's let's be honest, it's different. You have a different look, you have a different feel, you have a different way about you when it comes to being an Air Force officer and a female to boot. So my hat's off to you, because I think that it was one. Because I'm be honest with you, before you came back, I never fire anyone. So
they just have to leave on their own.
My wife is no, they don't even have to leave on their own. It's crazy because my wife thinks that it's like people that pick up the pets and they keep them. They don't let any pet go away. I'm that guy.
You're the crazy actor guy.
I'm the dude being the dude, the crazy dude.
cat lady.
But I was ready to say, all right, Danielle, it's been fun. And then I saw her, and then I called Mike, because Mike is the other side of the fence, and he's the guy that's like, are you sure? And he's told me that a couple times. I've never seen Mike stand up and clap for anyone.
Amazing.
It was great.
She nailed it.
So that's her story.
Thank you.
And we're sticking to it.
And you don't fire anybody, you just inexplicably kill them.
Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you now. We're doing multiple productions after this, hopefully. Yeah. We've got a few things in the work. And everyone that started the journey with me is going to take the journey in one way, shape, or form. Cool. If you're true to who you are, and if you continue to show me this is where you want to be, then in my opinion, the day you don't have my support is when I'm not breathing, because at this point you've got someone who, if I can walk, if I can talk, if I can get you there, I'm gonna get you there. But it has to be a mutual thing, because it takes a lot of energy to work with somebody who wants to be there. It takes a hell of a lot more energy to work with somebody who doesn't want to be there, and that's a lot of energy you're taking away from the ones that want to be.
Well, to be fair, there are two really big actors in the business, or two big directors in the business, and that's Joss Whedon and James Gunn, and they both operate on that same kind of that mindset, how they like to keep working with the same people as they keep taking that journey with every single production they're taking. So clearly, you're taking steps like so many other directors are doing too, so there's nothing really unusual about what
you
they're doing.
You can't deny that, though. I mean, look at what they've done. The last group that was sitting up here and the group that's here now, they're cementing, I can't say it enough, sitting here next to Michael A. Evans and the rest of the group here, and even the family outside of the mics they are giving me my future. So why wouldn't I do that for them? It's pretty easy when you know that you have people who are real. And I've said this to all my actors. It's very easy for us to lie. It's very easy for people to do something or say something and then turn around in a political way and change and say it's your fault that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? I challenge every person that I'm around, actors, friends, whatever. Actually, it's just the actors because my friends, they don't care. They're like, dude, whatever. But with the actors, I try to tell them, what's wrong with just saying how you feel? I mean, if you don't feel like being here today, don't get used to that. Right. But just don't tell me something to make me feel good, because I'm pretty good at picking up on the fact that you either want to be here or you don't. You're much better off being real about everything that you do. And if you apply that, that's the only reason I'm here.
Right.
That's the only reason I can that's the only reason I have a relationship with this man. You know, the relationship that we have, the relationship that I have with my wife, the relationship that I have with a lot of the people around me is that I'm not going to sit here and sell you something. I'm going to tell you how I feel. It doesn't mean I have to be mean. It just means that this is what it is. You can't hurt me because I feel this way.
Right.
And so if you tell me something, as long as you continue that path, business, acting, whatever, it's just my opinion, you're going to be more successful than you really believe. Don't paint a picture that doesn't exist. Live in the real, and you'll get there. And I see that's something that everyone here is doing. Okay, long-winded, sorry.
Yeah, it's the mutual respect, once again.
Absolutely.
You know,
We talked about that earlier.
Yeah. You talked about it earlier. You know, we respect, you know, their ability, and then they, you know, respect, you know, his ability to take him to the next level, hopefully. So we'll just go from there.
They have a pretty heavy job, especially as the pilots, because that goes to the responsibility they're going to have to carry us, you know, with the training that they're going to get, learning how to be pilots, learning around. I mean, they're Tina, the one we found at Cheesecake Factory, she took her first flight. You know, we went flying a few months back, and it's something I try to tell them. You even though you're acting, I'm putting you in a real life situation. So now you're flying a plane. You could die, right?
Whoops.
If the pilot has a heart attack and you've got the stick, you have to think about it's not just acting anymore. Now you're doing real stuff. And so I want you to feel that way when you're in the moment, you understand who you are. Right. So that's maturity.
Cool. So then the next in our group here. So pull that mic right next to you there.
I'm Adriana Van Vliet, and I'll be playing Cameron Ashby. I'll be working in the bar with Esther, but I'm also married to one of the fighter pilots.
Oh, cool. Oh.
And I'm foreseeing for my character, I don't know how much I can say. I'm hoping
you can say anything you want.
Okay. I'm hoping that I'll be kind of the Meg Ryan to the Goose.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
All right. So
I guess it's something to
I
work
didn't
with.
have to say that.
Oh, darn, we'll edit that out.
There'll never be
We'll
another
edit
Meg
that out.
Ryan, but there will be a new star.
Yeah. So how did you come by the part as well?
Very interesting. So I'm new to the San Diego area. I just moved here a year ago and decided, you know what, I've always wanted to pursue this. So I found an acting class, Terry Ross, and I got this email like 3 weeks into it saying that, you know, we'd like you to audition for BTI. I hadn't heard of it at all. So I went and auditioned for Jeff, and he said I was in it, and I was just stunned. And he makes fun of me for it all the time, that I'm like, am I really part of this project? This is real life. So I'm so excited to work with all these people. It's been great to get to know all of them, and I look forward to shooting.
Cool.
She keeps asking me for a script.
I do.
Is it real?
She hasn't learned yet.
This is real.
So your hiring process wasn't as traumatic as others, shall we say?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But once again, just like the first team, they've been meeting on Friday nights.
Oh,
right?
cool.
It's Saturday night.
Saturday night. So
They take
pilots
break.
have
So
Pilot night.
this is a normal thing for you on Saturday
Yeah,
night.
so it's a
Okay.
Saturday night. They get together. The pilots hang out. They get to know. He drills them on flying. They have to do presentations.
Oh, cool.
So they have to, her and her love interest have to sit next to each other, hold hands. She has to sit on the lap. They have
Oh,
the
wow.
character build.
Wow.
So when they get on set, you'll feel it, just like
and
you
you
did.
mix drinks.
Yeah,
and-
yeah, exactly.
That's mom.
So you'll see it, right off the bat. They'll show up on set and they're already friends. They know about each other. They've talked to each other, for months at a time. So they know everything about each other. So when we tell the characters, "Hey, you're married, act," they'll just jump on set and they've already felt that marriage,
Right.
going on. Hopefully before it turns sour.
Cool.
Cool.
That is really neat. The
It's
way
great.
that you've approached this. I just have to say it again. It's
Well, you gotta give it to these guys. They work hard.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they know I couldn't say enough. I'm just gonna ramble. So
all right. So next.
My name is Dennis O'Connor, and I'm playing the role of Captain Jackson Bama Ashby, one of the squadron pilots.
Oh, cool.
So you're the goose,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
unbeknownst to him, he actually saw you saw a concept art of yourself this evening. The pilot's walking down the flight line.
I remember that
I
one.
noticed that, yes.
You're on the right side.
I remember
Mark's
when
on the-
I was looking at that. I thought,
That was
okay,
fire.
that's got to be from the next part because
from the next part.
I don't remember that part before.
That looked
Yeah.
fresh.
So, and how did you come by?
So I was also in a acting class here in San Diego, and it was at Robert Walt, just
Okay.
like Melissa there. And one day he called me and said, "Hey, there's basically an ad for people to come in and audition for this BTI project. They're looking for male actors with a military haircut and style." And he said, "You really fit the bill for this." And so I said, "Yeah, okay." So I put in my application, and I heard back a few days later. They wanted me to come in. Came on in. Did a monologue for Jaws, from Jaws. It was the Captain Quint speech about the USS Indianapolis going down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that scene anyway. So, and then he gave me the part, and I was really happy and excited for it. And it's kind of been a whirlwind since then, but it's been a great time.
Cool.
I enjoyed it.
Excellent.
That's great.
Hi, my name is Abigail Simpson. I play a character named Ava. Sorry.
There we go.
There we go.
Don't fall off the bench.
I play Ava. I play Esther's granddaughter.
Oh, cool.
I got into it because I work at the same job as
Oh,
Susan
wow.
does. They came to pick her up for lunch and kind of just noticed me. I've never really pursued acting as a career, but now I'm all about it because Jeff has a lot of confidence in all of us, and I can really appreciate that. And it makes me see a lot of confidence in myself. So
Right.
I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I'm really excited to be with all of the people that are involved with it. It's a great project.
That's great.
Yeah, we picked her up for the role. If she wants to be, she's going to be playing an Origin as a principal. So it's going to be really cool because her journey goes in another direction. Pilots go one way, she goes
Yeah, I'm
the other.
definitely not
But
a pilot.
she's, but
I think
her.
they originally wanted me for a role as
Yeah, and then we figured
yeah.
the things in her ear just wouldn't pass.
Yeah.
Mustard
the things in my nose
Yeah.
and on her neck and stuff. But I make it a point to take Susan to lunch every week on Friday. I just have to because it's just we're sloppy drunks.
Yeah, well, you have this special relationship.
We have a very special relationship, and so we were coming back from lunch, and I saw Abigail over there, and we walked by. I'm like, "Hey, Susan, who's that?" Well, I don't know. Like,
I was I'd only worked at this job for like 2 weeks, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Maybe 3.
Yeah.
pushing it.
So
and,
it's,
yeah,
We work literally right next to each other. and
But now I look stupid because I didn't know who you were.
no,
I was
no.
brand new. There was
Let
a
the
ton of people
record
that
show
worked
that
there.
But Susan is a very private person.
I'm over here and
And that's Susan stays in her space, and that's what makes her so wonderful for the role that she plays because she's just great at who she is, right? She understands how to respect people's space, whereas I don't. So on the other side,
who's that?
Yeah, who's that? And so I sent Jessica and my wife to do my dirty work. I was like, hey, so this is what's gonna happen on Saturday. you and Jessica have to go to Macy's, and I want you to walk up. Now, don't freak her out. Just ask her if she's. And use Susan as a reference. Hey, you know that lady over there? She works in the film industry too. Just sorry about it.
And that is exactly what they did.
And that's and it worked out really well. Abigail's wonderful. She's got her own thing, so it's
Cool.
It's
So you weren't going through any acting training.
No, I've no
wow.
acting classes.
So
or
I'm
nothing.
really curious now. We've all gotten some sense of the excitement and enthusiasm in the way everybody else is approaching so far. Because you're really, pardon the term, but you're sort of a newbie
Absolutely.
to this entire world. How has this been affecting your perception?
I'm blown away, first of all, at just the whole concept of being involved in this world. I'm very impressed with the authenticity that Jeff puts forward and the professionalism of it. I've told I've told more than a couple people about what I'm doing, and they all think that it sounds like such an odd thing with me having no act. I mean, I acted in high school, small school plays, but by no means ever pursued it as a career. So people kind of hesitate thinking that it's an odd thing, but I'm very impressed. I'm very excited, and I am absolutely breathtaking. I don't even know how to put that into words. I'm amazed by it all.
Cool.
The thing that interests
I'm
me,
excited to get into it.
The thing that interests me about Abigail is I heard the term when we were at WesterCon, lightning in a bottle. She's one of those ones that you're not going to see coming.
Right.
You understand that she doesn't have any motives in coming into this process, and that's what I enjoy about working with everyone, even actors who are in school. I don't think they have any illusions about what's going to happen because there's a million actors out there. But what I enjoy is watching actors come into this space, and hopefully they understand that this can be bigger than I imagined. This can be much different because everything I've heard from everyone, this is just different, and it's weird and it's creepy. Mike and Jeff, and
It is creepy.
It is really creepy. Sometimes I freak myself out, and some honestly, even my own wife, she'll say, I support you in everything you do. I love you dearly, but you're really serious about this. You're serious about the people. It took her a little while to come around, and I told her, I said, it's just something about being in two dimensions. There's two dimensions to this. I see a second and a third dimension when I look at all these actors because I see things. I see things in them that I don't know what's wrong with everyone else. I get it.
Yeah.
There's something wrong with everyone else. There's nothing wrong with me.
All right. So who do we have next?
Hi, I'm Anya Walensky, and I will be playing a Russian military liaison. I was actually very fortunate. My story is a little different. I was found through Facebook, actually.
Oh, really?
You were found the same way Robbie was found.
It was wonderful. It's wonderful because I got this random message from Miss Jessica Moore, and they said that I think the terminology was that I had a look.
Yeah.
And so that they wanted for me to come in and audition, and so I did, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and I'm not a big monologue guy. Like my selection process has, although I do enjoy having people come and read for me because they're like, oh my god, and I'm like, just read. And then when they're done, I'm like, I didn't care about your monologue, really, I didn't. There's only two monologues that really grip me, and don't get offended, anyone, but she had a wonderful monologue. And it wasn't even a monologue. She had done a scene. She's very fluid. She's very natural. She's very in the space when she does her scene. And to play the role that she plays, she's going to have that strength. And it worked really well because she'll be supporting, my wife, who in her own right, especially since we work at it all the time, she's Russian.
Right.
So my wife knows how to be Russian, which is wonderful because you don't have to teach her how to be Russian. She's just Russian.
Exactly.
Sort of comes naturally.
Yeah, exactly. And I think someone playing the role with her needed to carry the same type of strength, the same type of presence. And she was really, really wonderful in her monologue and in her audition. So she and she had the look. I thought it would go great. And she's got a European background,
Yes,
so that
I'm
also
Polish.
she's Polish.
I'm from Poland, legitimately. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I could tell you had some kind of accent, but
Awesome,
Yeah, there's still a
I knew it
hint
was
of an accent I can
Yeah.
hear there.
just a hint.
Yeah.
Just a tiny bit.
An immigrant, yes.
Well, I love accents. So.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, but I'm so grateful because to have someone that is such a champion that sees talent and potential and that is willing to nurture it and give you a chance and really support you in that as a human being, not only as an actor or, what can you do for me? Like he was saying, he's not trying to sell us something, but it's such a holistic view because yes, it's, we're all in this together and it's such a family and
It's
yeah,
the
I'm-
new way of making film.
Well, actually, I
Truly.
was really going to just say that right now.
Klingon opera.
Because, and I think we sort of had this conversation when we interviewed you, a lot of big studios aren't going to want to take a big gamble on a group of unknowns. And I don't mean that in any sort of derogatory fashion because, as we've seen with the first group, they're largely unknown, and yet they all turned out performances that were just mind-boggling, and I see no reason. And if Jeff selected all of you, then I would expect the same out of everybody here. So I'm really thinking that maybe now that web-based movies and series are really becoming coming on the rise, I'm really thinking this might be the way for people who are desperately wanting to break into the business. This is their foot in the door,
Yeah.
in a way.
I'll take it a step further. The business, I respect the business. I've been in the business. Mike has been in the business. But I enjoy the fact that the business is at my front door.
Right.
They don't have to walk through any doors, in my opinion. As I said before, and I'll say it again, when I say this, I mean it with a full heart. As long as I'm breathing and as long as this is what they want to do, we're going to do it. This group right here, everyone in this group has three parts to this entire story. Some of them will be here for the very last one. Some of them will be here up until the second. No one dies, maybe. But nothing gives me greater joy than to see people feel comfortable in their space and love doing what they do. And they've all taken their licks. They've been to my house. I've told Melissa that she's horrible at times and she's good at other times. But you know what? She just keeps coming back. And guess what I told her? No, this is, okay, we're real here,
Yeah.
okay? She had a hard time in the beginning. She has evolved in a month, and the thing I told her is, you're at a certain point where you're at, but the fact that you kept coming back, there's no way you're losing this role. You
Right.
keep coming back.
Yep.
There are people who will cry and throw things for less than what she's taken. She's taken licks from him. She's taken licks from me. She's taken licks from, a couple of other people. But she keeps coming back. And guess what? If I was in a wartime situation, I know nothing about being in war, so I don't even claim to understand what that feel like. But I would venture to guess that the people that keep coming back are the ones that you, even if it's not in acting, those are the ones that you can definitely look over your shoulder and you'll know that if you can't lift something up, they'll be there.
Well,
Right.
if they keep coming back, then that means they have your back.
Exactly.
Yes.
And especially with the people playing pilots, they're going to learn very, very quickly here in the next couple months that when it's all said and done, it's a feeling when you talk to someone like Travis or David, they have a bond that's everlasting. When they
Right.
come in a room together, they sit down and that's it. I remember telling them this, you're Alex and Will. You walk in my room, you're Alex and Will. I mean, it's crazy, and that's what everybody says. You are who you are in real life. But isn't it wonderful that you guys can take that home with you, even when you're not on set, that this is real? It's real. I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I just
And-
think that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And it's a different process. We actually lost a couple of crew members because when we said, no, we're going to be working with the actors, we're going to get some new actors, and we're going to work with them for a couple of months, and then we'll work everything out, and we'll shoot them whenever we're ready. We're not, not on a real strict schedule, and we'll shoot whatever it takes to get the project done. and some people said, we don't work like that.
Wow.
The actors show up, they do their lines, and then they leave. And it's like, no, we're doing it a little bit more organic. Well, I don't work like that then. So we actually lost some crew members because they didn't like the way we worked, but the way we worked.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. This is a new model for possibly making movies.
Right. No, and I understand that. The thing I can say, and then we'll move on to, with my apologies for being long-winded. Sorry, Mikey. But I've had a few people give me a hard time for the cast members. I don't even think we talked about this in our interview, but you come into a community that there's some it's a small group, small handful, but there are people who really feel entitled in this area of entertainment who have approached me and said, I don't understand why you're working with these new actors. Some of us have paid our dues. You need to focus on the people who've been here. And my whole attitude is, it's not to be a jerk. It's who are you? Who? It's not that you're nobody, but I know nothing about you. And when I came into this process, the thing that I can tell you is if you tell me someone is not great, and believe me, the last cast I had, there were so many doubts from so many people inside of the production had been here for a while, that I told him, I said, I will put my reputation, I will fight for you until the process is over. I've been 99.9% right.
Cool.
99. And this is going to be 100%. I can tell you right now. This is I'm playing a colonel, okay? I don't believe myself yet. I'll get there. I'm a lieutenant colonel. I don't believe myself.
Right.
But this is going to be my family for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Next 10 years. I mean, that's how long Origin, the entire process is probably going to take to tell all the stories. So this right here is going to be my direct, immediate family for the next 10 years. I have to have some
Well, you have to use all of David's words.
Oh, Jesus. If I use David's words, it's going to be 20 years. So I had to shorten that up just a little bit.
Okay, so last but not least.
Hi, my name is Robert Ford, and I will be playing Major Marcus Mickey Hurley. Thank you, Jeff, for the nickname, the call sign.
He knows why.
Yeah. We can maybe that's another whole episode in itself. My story is a little bit different. Similar to hers, but I was based in San Diego for a long time, and I ended up moving up to Los Angeles for acting purposes. And I studied at Robert Wald like many of the other cast members, and I knew Jessica, who plays my girlfriend, and I was walking home, and I got a phone call one night, and she said, "Hey, Rob, how are you?" I'm like, "I haven't talked to you in like 2 years, since I moved up here." She said, "Oh, I was wondering if you, were still acting and doing." I said, "Of course, absolutely. That's why I'm in LA." And she said, "Would you be interested in maybe auditioning for this part?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess absolutely." And
it
turns
means moving back to San Diego.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it turns out that Jeff had, tell me if I'm saying the story wrong because I could be butchering it, but I guess he was looking on San Diego actors on Facebook.
Yes,
and
that's
he was looking through people. Turns out that he saw me and I fit the bill for the part that I'm playing currently, and
which we won't say the name.
We won't say the name.
Thank you.
And it turns out that he told Jessica, he said, "Hey, I think I found somebody." And Jessica goes, and his name's Robbie. And Jessica goes, "It can't be Robbie. Robbie Lyford?" And he goes, "Yeah, that's me." So it happened, obviously, me, the same guy. So, kind of funny.
That's cool.
And it's funny because he went to school with Travis. They went to college together. So
that's amazing.
It was like,
and we both had no idea we were both interested in acting. I mean, small world.
This
Crazy.
whole story of this whole process and us becoming involved in this process as well.
You are now
part of the family.
Part of the family.
Welcome.
Yeah.
But it's nothing happens by chance.
No,
and
this is really beginning to sound like some sort of universal ordained event that has taken place here. The way not just the way we've come into it, but the way everybody else, the first group that we've interviewed, the way everybody else here has come into it. You've really managed to create this incredible synergetic sense of family in this project, and it's part of your vision. I continue to be overwhelmed by what you've started here. I mean, this is more than just something that people can see on the web. It feels like you've literally created a movement.
Yeah.
And when you talk and when you use the word impact, it has more than just a double meaning now.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm beyond impressed by what I've seen happen here so far.
I owe it to my mom.
Cool.
No, I owe it to my mom. I mean, it was interesting. We're not going to get into this.
Oh man.
I can actually talk about this now, without actually getting upset about it. But my mom passed away. Actually, she passed away September of last year.
Wow.
And when we started the process, I was in the middle of getting ready to shoot BTI. And something that I was telling this story to Danielle and Jessica, because me and my wife, we went to dinner with them a little while back, and it's interesting because the cast and everyone in BTI owes this to my mom, because until she passed away, I didn't get it. I got a little bit of it, but there was she had a way about dealing with people. She had a way with talking to people and understanding that there's something more. She never got upset. She was always very calm, and no matter what happened to her, she always found the good in every bad situation. But I've had a couple of instances in my life where people have been very good to me, and by luck it sunk in. After she passed away, it was kind of like this delivery of beautiful things, beautiful people, beautiful energy, and these are things that you just we're surrounded by it, but you don't really pick up on it until it's kind of missing. You're used to having that thing there,
Right.
and it makes you want to be a better person. It made me want to be a better person. This is something that I had in my heart even when we started, but it's much stronger now, because you have to respect the beautiful things that are around you. And I'm a firm believer. In if you try to make the things around you beautiful, even if it can be hectic and chaotic, you can even be upset with someone, but still have the respect of the beauty that they bring to the process. I truly believe that you mold into that. And I think the movement has just been created by the respect and the difference, the depth of looking past what I see on a physical level.
You reap what you sow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just different. It's just different.
It's selfless. That's one of the things. San Diego is a very different. We couldn't do this in L.A.
Right.
Because in L.A., people would say, yeah, I'll be in your movie. What's in it for me?
Well, I think LA's also got the machine, basically. It's the movie machine.
Yeah.
of
You
course,
get away
of
from there,
course.
and then you have a situation where the product, whatever it is that you're trying to create, can then have a life of its own. It can have a breath of its own, as opposed to whatever it is that the machine and Hollywood is trying to synthesize.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's so different, from L.A. to San Diego, because when I used to, was an actor, I'd say, go to a casting call, and I'd, on the way out, say, hey, good luck to people. And they'd look at me like I'm crazy in L.A. And here, you'd say, you get a casting call, and you'd say, hey, good luck. If I don't get it, I hope you get it. And they say, well, okay, great. Same, it's the same atmosphere. So it's such a nicer vibe here in San Diego. And these people, that we're surrounded with amazing talent that are selflessly giving their talent to us, and we want to selflessly give the opportunity to become whatever they want to become.
That's true. And, Susan, I'm going to tell you on air right now that when we had the interview and Susan sat there and she told me again, they asked her the question, how does it feel to work with Jeff? And I love Jeff. I've never had any sons. If I ever wanted a son, it would be him. And at that point, you realize you have a responsibility. I never realized the responsibility that I had until that day, because now you have made people believe.
Right.
I'm glad you touched, and that was one of the most beautiful stories that Jeff told in that interview. I was deeply moved by it, which is why I was so happy to meet you. And I didn't really cover this with the first group because I already got a sense of it, but I want to ask all of you, based on everything that's just been kind of like covered, have you really felt any kind of positive impact in your lives in any sort of way? I mean, even though you really haven't started filming yet, and hopefully that'll be pretty soon once you guys make your Kickstarter goal. But have you already, just from being together, working with Jeff, have you already started to feel something transformative as
Yes.
actors?
Absolutely.
Definitely.
That
Good.
you know, and I mean, what have you experienced in your lives? I'm just curious. I mean, any one of you can answer that.
I'll speak from living in LA and calling San Diego home. Mike touched on the fact that it's like a breath of fresh air to come up here. You can
Right.
breathe. It's comfortable. You would never have someone say good luck in a casting call or an audition or
Right.
anything. This is a family, and that term is thrown around far too often. But you can already tell that when you have a director and an AD that have your deep interests at heart and they really care about you, because it goes both ways. You don't walk up to them and say, what can you do for me? How can you jumpstart a career? How can this be a platform? It goes both ways. They truly want you to be a better person.
Right.
It's similar to a coach saying, bringing up someone, in college and they have a chance to go to the NBA or something and saying, I care about you as a student, as the human being, not the millions of dollars. I care about, for me, Robbie as the guy. What director do you have you heard that calls up and says, hey, man, how's your Thursday going? How's
Right.
everything going?
Right.
How's the love life?
Actually,
That's that is the definition of family.
It is, and actually, I'm going to disagree with you on one little tiny thing. When you said that it gets thrown about a little bit too much, some of my favorite television shows, and I'm just going to name two of them: Star Trek, Babylon 5. The reason I bring those two up is because in both cases, they talk about an enormous sense of family that exists, and I've had the pleasure of being in the presence of both cast groups. And you see the love that exists between each of them.
Exactly.
You see the love that the producer and the director and the writers that they have for the cast members, and you see how they go out of their way to help each one of these people succeed. And I get that sense that this is something that Jeff wants for each and every one of you. So, breath of fresh air, absolutely. It certainly does depart from the almost heartless Hollywood machine that you have there. But I agree with you on everything else that you said.
I can only speak for myself, but I think we all want to perform, for Jeff. When you want to do it for someone, it's different than just doing it.
Right. Exactly.
You want to succeed for everyone in the project.
It's not just going
is
through the
self-
motions.
the word goes
and
back to
collecting
selfless.
the paycheck.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I
and
want to
there's
succeed
absolutely no way I'm going to let you fail.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
good.
like with positive energy and love being involved in this whole process, how can we not individually succeed and succeed together as a whole? I mean, it's just a great positive energy, with all of us involved and all of us getting along so well.
I appreciate it,
It's
and
infectious,
the
yeah.
appreciation is there. That's one of the biggest reasons. Even if we talk about the Kickstarter thing, it's not that okay. First of all, the people that are originally backing the project are wonderful people. Okay, the last one we did was primarily my money and one or two of very close friends that have become partners in the process. But when I look at it and I look at the attachments, I also understand that in their mind, they don't want to pay the actors because they gave me an offer to pay, B-listers or certain people that they could have brought to the process. And at that point, it's not a natural thing for me anymore. It becomes, okay, in order for us to support you, we're going to have to do well in business. But as long as I can keep my feet where I want to, it's where I have to actually use my brain to make this work for all of us. And in order to do that, I have to be very careful about the decisions I make. I can't just jump on certain bandwagons. I can't just do certain things that people want. In order for me to keep you where I want you, there are going to be things that I'm going to have to turn down. There are a couple things that I've already turned down simply because they wanted me to change the people that I had on board. And as I've made my commitment to my actors, that commitment stands. Right. If I end up having to sell BTI or if I end up having to sell Origin to a company, I'm okay with that as long as it's stated that my actors get a run.
Right.
Well, it's also they're part of your vision.
That's right. So if they turn around and say, hey, you'll no longer be the director, you're no longer the producer, we're paying you out, right? I'm fine with that, but I'll only be fine with that if they get to realize their dream. Because at that point, as adults, you're going to have to make decisions. You already understand that. I mean, I'm not your dad, okay? But I can tell you that as long as I can be of some sort of guidance, if it can be positive, if Mike can give you positive, feedback, if we can keep you from the things that make acting in Hollywood or entertainment depressing, or the things that make you say, I've had enough. I don't want to do it anymore. Doing what you're doing now, these are the best times of your life. You've probably heard that when you've played a high school sport. But wouldn't it be nice for the best times of your life to be your entire life?
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's the journey.
Yeah, and we have a lot of talented people. I said it in the first part to some of the actors, and I'm going to say it to some of these actors too. If you can see you the way we see you, then you wouldn't worry a thing about it, because they are so talented. We see their talent, but they don't. And
David Wagner was
David
a perfect
Wagner.
example.
Right.
David, as he's a humble guy. He's so
To
introverted
meet
that it's
him.
not even
So not Alexei.
Exactly.
right. Well, guess what? David was at a place where he had never seen things through the camera, and he didn't believe himself. It's not that he didn't believe in his potential, but he didn't believe himself. But the best story that I have of David is when I played BTI for him at my house, because we had a premiere. Okay?
Right.
Things didn't work. 300 people there. Didn't show up on screen. What are you going to do? Wonderful thing is, in my mind, I had seen things. I had seen the production. I had seen BTI. So it wasn't that devastating for me, because I was like, I've seen it. I think you guys did a wonderful job. David was devastated, because for him, that was him saying, because he was very proud of this process. But to him, it was kind of a letdown. I remember when we were at the house 3 weeks after, when because I invited everyone in the theater to come to the house. I said, if you want to come see it, you can come to my house. And that's where it's best played anyway. If it can't be on a theater, it's got to be on my stereo system. But David saw it, and he walked across the room to his co-star, Ruslan, who plays the other Russian, got down on his knees, and he gave him a hug like there was no tomorrow. I thought David was going to cry, because it's one of those moments where you don't see David smile a whole lot. It's not that he's not a happy person, but he just doesn't smile a whole lot. But when you see when you can make someone like David Wagner smile, you have arrived as a person. You're like, dude, I am king fish today.
He realized he had the goods.
That's right.
We shot him. We told him he had the goods. He didn't realize he had the goods. It wasn't until he saw the final product where he realized it.
But do you know? But do you know what makes David good and Travis good and the other actors that I've been fortunate to work with, is they manage to keep their feet on the ground.
Yeah, humble.
Yeah.
Humble.
It's very valuable advice.
Because we're all great in our own way, but you're a much more powerful commodity to yourself and to the people you work with when you can be good just being who you are, when you can be awesome at what you do and still manage to say hi to the person that looks up to you, or because there are millions of people at one point are going to be like, you are just awesome. And I liken it to soldiers coming home from war when they say thank you for your service. For a lot of soldiers that I know, it's hard for them to say you're welcome, because to them, it's their job. It's what they do. They feel like they're there to do that. The most gratifying thing for me is watching you smile at this process. The most gratifying thing for you should be watching people's lives change, because you've become someone that they just, for that moment, they immerse themselves in. They become someone else. They're in another world, and you've made that happen. To me, it's wonderful to be great, but it's better to be great making other people happy.
Have you ever thought of being a motivational speaker? Because I feel like I've just attended like Up with Life or something.
No.
But that's what makes this whole project special is your vision and that
It
ability
is that
to
enthusiasm.
to motivate people to be the best people and the best actor and the best character that they can possibly be.
Does that seem intimidating to anybody?
No.
Excellent. So you all feel like more positive than like, oh my God, I've got something really huge to live up to. None of that?
It's hard to live up to something when you're already that thing. You're already that thing.
If they already know it.
They knew it the moment they walked in my house. They just needed to feel it. It's different when you tell someone something versus when you wrap it around them and give them that. Yeah. There's nothing that happens on our set other than maybe frustration between me and Mike, because Mike and I have a wonderful relationship on set. When we are on set and off set, there's something to be said about respecting someone who tells you no. I can tell Mike no, he respects it. He can tell me no, I respect it. And that's what makes it great, right? But we understand the space that you're working in. We understand as young actors what you're going to be up against. We understand that. We're not here to pat butts, but we are here to tell you there's a way you can navigate this situation without feeling like someone else controls you or that you are being held hostage, right? When you walk onto my set, you're that character. We are an engine. We work together. I bring direction. You give me your best. And that's your tool. That's what you do. I can't be good at my job unless I allow you to be good at yours. So at some point, you have to be able to look at yourself for the commodity that you are, because obviously somebody wants you, right? You're there for a reason. The engine rolls together as long as everybody understands who they are and they make that space comfortable for one another.
Yeah, and actually, I came to one of the Saturday night meetings, and someone said, well, I'm kind of doing something, and I said, well, you're here, so you're here for a reason. So Jeff trusts in your ability, so I trust Jeff 100%. So you're here for a reason. Trust me and trust him. And I tell actors that all the time. He has a vision. He knows what's happening in the third movie. So if he tells you look up and think about something and then look down, just do it. You don't know why you're doing it, but
trust it.
Yeah, trust it. You'll see it on the screen and you'll get it.
That was so funny. We shot the interviews the other day, and there was, the guy that we had there that we had running the camera. It was his first kind of time working with me, and he was, he looked at me and he said something to the effect of, I forgot what it was, for me to catalog something about, doing the shot. I don't know if it was slating it or something like that. Mike looks at him. He says, "Don't worry, Jeff's already got it played out in his mind." Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was like, "Don't worry about it. He's got it." And BTI's already been shot. It's already been shot. What you saw on the screen from the moment, the very first hour, it was shot. It's done. It took me 8 hours to put that together. The only reason it was 12 is because I just didn't like the sound. Okay. But it was 8 hours. And there's 3 hours of footage, 3 or 4 hours of footage there. I only did 5 minutes. I'm not saying I'm a genius. I'm saying that you've already painted the story.
If we could hook a computer up to Jeff's mind and download it, we don't even have to shoot the movie. He already shot it in his head.
Partying
Exactly.
all night long, watching you guys.
That's how much vision he has.
So the movie is already shot. You just have to transfer from your brain to celluloid.
That's exactly how it is. Exactly. And then when David and I work on a script, the hardest thing for me and David working together on a script is David just writing it the way that I want it to be said, because I tell David what I want the characters to say. Right. The honest to God truth is, when me and David write, I go to him and say, okay, this is what I want the character to say. I want him to say it like this. And David's educated part of his brain says no. And he'll go home and he'll write it his way. And then he'll come back, and then I will go through it, and then eventually it's funny because it starts getting pulled right back to where I had it in the beginning, only because I understand that people. Susan wouldn't say it like that.
Right.
You know, Esther would never say it like that, or River would never say it like that. You know what I mean? It's just understanding who you're dealing with and understanding what you want. But that's not to say, when we look at the script, David also points out some things to me that, hey, you know what? This may be a little bit better. And he's right.
Right.
I don't have all the answers. Yeah, it's
the
fun.
characters.
How much of the script is already totally written?
The story is done. We have the Air Force wants the remainder of the script on the 28th because we're working. The Air Force has to pre-screen the script. There are a couple of small changes that I've made, especially when we brought Abigail on, because I wasn't sure I was going to have that character. So we've now written Abigail's character into the script, and we now understand what Melissa's character is going to be doing. So we probably have I'd say we're about a week and a half out. But the framework is done. Everything is done. We understand. It's just a matter of how I want the ending to be.
So are there any script readings? I mean, any part of it that any of you are
They've
working?
never seen
They
it.
haven't seen any of it yet.
They'll see it 3 weeks before shooting, but I'll tell you this much. It's not the script reading that I'm concerned about. It's them just getting together and doing the natural blocking. I call it natural blocking. It's blocking without blocking. They're just being natural, because when we shoot the scenes that they're going to be in, you'll understand when you see. I mean, most of their first scene are going to be in a bar. Yeah. That's it.
But they're not going to get the whole script. No one's getting the whole script.
Right.
They're only getting their side.
They're only get their part of it, as well as the ending is a big mystery, so that's not even being released.
Yeah.
Dun, dun.
So
the ending is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge, and it's probably why we need Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Just in the ending alone. So it's a different process, so they're not even going to be able to know what happens. So we may not release part of the end part of the script until probably maybe a week or even less before we shoot it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of like the cliffhanger.
And you guys will be fine, because you'll understand who your characters are. So when you read it, you're just going to read it.
Right.
It's not even going to, there'll be no question. And guess what? Some of what you're reading will change, because when you get into a table read with me, and Susan will tell you, I will look at it and I'll be like, you know what? Your character probably wouldn't say it like that. I think I changed 20% of what I wrote last year.
And we were even talking about doing a table read with completely separate people, so they don't even get a table read. So we want to hear what someone else says, because he can interpret it. Oh, this is them saying it.
Right.
So
keep it a secret until
keep
the
it
very
that
last
much
minute.
of a secret. So we get just other actors or friends and sit down and do a table read and hear it that way. So that's very odd too.
I'm sorry, guys. Talk. I'm gonna shut up unless you guys ask me a direct question. But
I'd like
it
to
would
see that.
would be great. I'm really interested in some of the questions that you may have, because you're looking at a group of people. Even if we do, when we do Kickstarter, these are the people that are now, except for Susan, working for us for the first time. So they're in their infancy of working on this project now. And this is probably, if you wanted from its origins to see what this
what
is
the
probably
impact
the
is
best.
going to be. Yes.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more.
I couldn't resist.
No, hey, I'm on board. Free advertising.
So, any questions that you have? About?
Any questions do you have for the boss?
Yeah, well, they're learning all this for the first time.
Yeah.
So reactions, maybe even.
Yeah, reactions.
Well, the whole reason
Can you
one
guys
of the
bend that
reasons-
microphone down for her, please?
Sure,
She's
vertically
gonna. I
challenged.
feel so bad. It's gonna break her neck.
One of the reasons I'm very excited about this project is to kind of find out what happens in the end, and to find out that I won't really know is kind of
Actually, this sort of brings up a question that just came to mind. How many of you actually knew about Beyond the Impact before you were even picked? Wow, universal shakings of head no.
I will say this. When Jessica called me on the phone when I was walking home from work, I said, "Oh yeah, any I love acting, so anything to get involved." And she said, "Well, let me send you some of it." And I've spoken with Jeff with this on numerous occasions. And when I saw it, you see the quality.
Oh, absolutely.
That was something else.
That's a game changer in itself. I mean, you can say, "Oh, this is blah 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 good. This is."
Right.
When I saw it, that is when I looked at Jeff in the eyes, and when we started having serious conversations weekly, I said, "That's some good stuff."
That was going to be my next question. So I'm assuming that once you were all selected, you all had a chance to see what is already produced. What were some of your thoughts as you viewed it?
Sound quality was amazing.
The music.
Thank you very much.
The music. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a big conversation about that. Yeah, we loved the music.
Yeah.
I mean,
the
were some of you-
visuals too.
Yeah.
I mean, just on the, I don't know how you pulled it off, but some of that looks like big budget Hollywood movies. That
It's called sleeping on the couch numerous times.
It just draws you in from the
It
beginning.
does. It really does.
That is so important. Anytime you watch any movie, what's that? It's almost in a song you have. It's like the chorus in the beginning.
Right,
Oh,
right.
okay.
The hook.
The hook
Yeah.
in the
Cue
beginning.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
shows how much of a musician I am.
Yeah, I think the quality of it really gave you an idea of how serious they were about it.
I would imagine that would
And-
make you very excited about being a part of. I mean, it's like, wow, this first part is so amazing, and they want me to be a part of the next phase.
And it's only going to get better.
I remember walking out of the audition and found out that I had it, and I closed the door. I was going down in the elevator. I said, "What did I just become a part of here?" Because I'm a beginning actor, and I just said to myself, "This is crazy that I have this opportunity."
Overwhelming?
You gotta run with it. It really was for me. It was one of my first auditions, and I just said to myself, people don't get this opportunity in real life.
Trust me, we understand.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. You just-
So well, we really get where you're coming from.
Yes.
It's-
I mean,
it's-
we've been overwhelmed as well in this process. I mean, I'm very honored to be here at this Kickstarter and to interview all of these wonderful people that we've interviewed before and the group that we have here now, and to hear Jeff and Mike
Yeah.
talk about this
And
see the enthusiasm and to just be part of it.
And there's also I also have this sense of being incredibly honored, because not just from with the previous group, I mean these are faces that I've seen many times already, watching it over, talking to some of them before today, talking to many of them during the course of the evening, but I feel a sense of enormous privilege at being in the presence of what I think could be really if Jeff picked you, then you're here for a reason.
Yep.
And I feel extremely honored to be in the presence of what I think could be the next generation of some really, really great actors. And I'm not just saying that. I really mean that in all seriousness. I'm just really excited for the future, not just for the future of Beyond the Impact, and I am very excited about where this is going to go.
Yeah.
I'm
I want to know what
beyond
the end is
excited.
too.
I cannot wait. I mean, I've been on the edge of my seat since we saw the first part completely.
Right.
But I'm also very excited to see what's going to happen with each one of you.
Absolutely.
Just
I'm
remember,
very
guys,
excited.
though, aside from the cast, you guys caused a resurgence.
Oh.
After when you shoot and when you work that hard and that long on a project and the lull starts to happen, you kind of find yourself in a place where, shit.
That's okay.
We
That's
I have a
okay.
sound for that.
Excuse my language. But when again we go back to that synergy, and Mike was saying one time, I have to tell you, along with the support that I've gotten from my other family members and Mike, aside from my wife, Mike has just been, he's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
You have an
I
awesome
got
group
loved
of
ones,
people.
but
You
but
surround
when
yourself with good people.
It's good people are not hard to find. They're just in places where you can't find them.
Yep.
And when they come out for a reason. And a lot of this is quite possible because it is possible because when you're out in the field, you have a field general, and he's amazing. He's got my back. He's always looking out for my best interest. Sometimes he gets a little jealous because I've got a better looking head than he does. And that's okay.
Yeah.
We can't all be perfect. But but in all seriousness, when you look at being on a lull, when I read your review, I was excited again. Because I realized that somebody took a look at the work. You don't have to tell me good things to make me feel good about who I am. All I need you to do is tell me what you really think, but what you really think coming from a good place. There are people that'll tell you bad things coming from a good place.
Yeah.
There are people that'll tell you, hey, all right, dude, you really screwed that one up. So just next time, do what you know how to do. Just do it better.
Right.
And there are people that just tell you, you suck just because they want to tell you, and that's how they just want to feel good about making someone feel bad. But when I read your review, I realized that you looked through the dimensions. Right. You saw some people were like, I'm a little lost here. I've heard that a couple times. I don't understand where this is going. You could sit there and tell them all day, well, this is character introduction.
Exactly.
For me. I want you to understand the characters. The last 10 minutes, as they say in a workout, the reps that hurt are the ones where you're getting the work. Well, the last 10 minutes of BTI are pretty much telling you what's getting ready to happen.
You bet.
And if you didn't let yourself get bored, and I blame myself if somebody got bored, if you were paying attention, you connect the dots. There's a lot right in front of your face earlier on in the project, but you guys looked at the painting.
Right.
And you got it right. I'm not talking about you liking it. I'm saying you saw it. They saw it for what it was. It was as if they were in the editing room when I did that. And I'm eternally grateful that you feel the way that you feel, that you said the words that you said, and that you feel that strongly about something I've done. Because if there's a million people or a gazillion people in the world, and I affected you all that way, and you were the only two, I've done my job.
Yeah. Well, can't tell you what I felt whenever I saw it. And then I went to bed. We watched it on Friday night, and I went to bed. And as I said, I get up with the chicken. So I was sitting there, and I was thinking, I've got to write this. I've got to write about this, whether it becomes a review or not. And I'm not a writer. He's the writer. I'm not a writer. And I had to write about it. And that's what came out.
It was wonderful, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, you have some new characters to be introduced.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
So who said you're going to squeeze off this time?
And who are you going to dislike right off the bat?
Exactly.
Oh, now.
But I'm going to like. Or vice versa. Who knows?
So I watched Beyond the Impact last night, and Robbie was just too beautiful for man.
I'll take that review anytime.
You scare me sometimes.
Yeah, so we're very lucky to have this group in front of us. So, and
I think we're very lucky to have everyone that's sitting here. Thank you for driving down here.
Oh, sure.
And I would love to see you guys as scientists.
You have a part.
I mean,
you have a part.
If you guys are ready, I mean, that. I don't know what your vision is, but I love to see you guys as scientists.
My vision
back
is,
there
I
at
think
Crow.
we should steal their shoes.
That's true.
Because I'm down.
Yeah.
$16. I mean,
Yeah,
hey,
you made
just drive to Palm
$16.
Springs. These things are on sale.
Yeah, exactly.
They got them there.
You can have a pair.
There you go.
Does anybody have any thoughts before we start to wrap this up?
And
Anybody
we
have
listen
any
to the helicopter fly over.
Yeah.
Anybody want to say anything? Last chance. This could be your moment. Yes, okay.
I think I can speak for everybody when I say that it's really a privilege and it's an honor for us to be a part of this project. It's a very unique experience that we're going through. It's been challenging at times for myself, at least, but it's been a learning process, and it's.
I was going to ask, have you felt like you've grown as a person, or have your skills grown as well?
Oh yes, definitely, definitely, and seeing Jeff and his vision and the passion and everything that he's put into it, and then seeing the part one of the series, meeting all of the cast and the crew that is involved with part one, and it just is. It's really infectious. It just makes you want to work harder. It makes you want to, rise up and hit that bar. And it just really is an honor. And I'm still, from day one, I'm still like, oh, I can't believe I'm a part of this. And it's really awesome.
The projects that stand the test of time are the ones that have cast members that say that very thing. Yep. Those are the ones that will endure. Those are the ones that people, the next generation and the generation after are going to look at and say, yes, that is quality. And to be a part of that is something that I think is very exciting. And I'm excited for all of you because you, and like I said, I can't wait to see what this is going to do for each of you individually and collectively. I'm really excited for it.
Well, appreciate it. And again, to Mike, to the cast members, to Ben and Keith, that's it. I mean, you're making it happen for me. Don't ever forget that. Don't come to me and say, hey, listen, $20 million or I'm out. Power of the pen is deadly.
And we've all, I've said that from the very beginning, and I think I've told a couple of these, actors that, hey, you know what? You become too big for us and let us know it, then that's the day that we'll get your stunt double and shoot them, and then they'll hit the ground.
Exactly.
And your character's
done. So don't do that to yourselves, please.
But on the good side of things, it's an honor for me. When someone says they trust me, it's an honor. It's an honor. I mean, it's an honor. And that's a gift. It's a gift. These aren't gifts that you can hold on to, but you can definitely immerse yourself in them, and you all have given me, you're giving me the second half of my life.
Yep.
And if I got that and my wife and my son, I'm golden. I'm solid. So keep doing what you're doing. It's wonderful.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you to Jeff and the crew and the cast of Origin Beyond the Impact at the Kickstarter for the next phase of this project, and we look forward to seeing what you do in the future and what this wonderful group that we have sitting in front of us, the second half of the group, and see where they go.
Beyond the Impact, the next generation.
Yeah, there you go.
Guys, wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
And here are a few selected birthdays for August 17th through August 23rd. On August 17th, Robert De Niro, 71.
And he's still busy making movies.
Absolutely. And Mae West was born in 1893. Samuel Goldwyn was born in 1882. The Goldwyn of Metro
Goldwyn Mayer.
Yes. August 18th, Christian Slater is 45. And Max Factor was born on August 18th, 1904. And Max Factor was big into the Hollywood film industry. And
isn't that what
cosmetics.
inspired cosmetics, though?
Yes,
It
absolutely.
was the makeup industry in Hollywood.
Absolutely. And August 19th, Bill Clinton is 68. Jonathan Frakes is 62. Ginger Baker, 75.
That's if they can still prop him up. Who knew that Ginger Baker would still be alive?
Exactly. Gene Roddenberry would have been 94 on August the 19th. And Coco Chanel was born in 1883.
There's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
Yeah. Actually, her real name was Gabrielle, but Coco Chanel. Interesting. August 20th, Sylvester McCoy is 71. John Noble is 66. Alan Lee is 67.
For you Lord of the Rings fans.
Yes. And Howard Phillips Lovecraft.
H.P. Lovecraft.
Lovecraft was born in 1890. August the 21st, Carrie Ann Moss is 47. August 22nd, Ray Bradbury would have been 94.
Oh, and Uncle Ray would have still been cranky.
Oh, yeah. And Claude Debussy was born in 1862. August 23rd, River Phoenix would have been 43. 105.
What a tragic loss.
Yeah. Gene Kelly would have been 102.
Good grief.
And Barbara Eden is 83.
And she's still going and,
And
still
she's
looking
still
fabulous.
going and looking good. Exactly. And Louis XVI was born on August 23rd, 1754. And that's the birthdays for this week. And of course, that means that we have some listener feedback.
Yeah, we got
lots of it this week.
Feedback. Last week, we posted a story about how Melinda May is getting her own comic in Marvel. And Roy Roberts, friend of ours on Facebook, simply had this to say, "This made my morning," and he gave a smiley face. Thank you. Hey, our pleasure. When we can report news that makes people smile, it makes us happy.
Absolutely.
And, of course, one of the big hot news that came out of the big TV upfronts, especially the CW upfront, I guess it was an upfront this last week, there was discussion that John Constantine is going to be making an appearance on Arrow.
Yes.
And Missy Gunnels-Catano wrote, "It's great that they were able to get him to reprise the role." I think a lot of people are very happy about that the actor was able to actually come back. I believe he desperately wanted to keep the role going. From what I understand, he really enjoyed playing the part.
Yeah.
So it's good they were able to get him back. And if you want to read more on the story, just go to our website at tggeeks.com. And then there was a post about how the Sci-Fi Channel is continuing their promise to update classic sci-fi books into movies. We know that they're doing that with Childhood's End, and they just announced that they're going to be doing it with Frederick Pohl's Gateway. And our good friend Crazy Joe over at Megapodzilla wrote, "Sci-fi has always been a dependable source of good to great sci-fi shows. Farscape, Battlestar Galactica, Eureka, Warehouse 13, Being Human. There is always at least one sci-fi show that I DVR." So, and he says that currently his big watch is their Killjoys and Dark Matter.
Yeah, and we are currently watching Killjoys and Dark Matter. I mean, they really
We're a little
haven't
behind.
grabbed my attention, but I guess
It hasn't pushed us away yet.
Exactly, they haven't pushed us away.
So yeah, we're still keeping the door open for that. Now, we did have the enormous pleasure of being able to see Man from U.N.C.L.E. We'll talk a little bit about that in a bit, but I did write a review, and our good friend James Starks, who is also attached to BTI, wrote, "I too was born in the 60s, but never really old enough to understand, though I do remember the name," meaning the TV series The Man from U.N.C.L.E. "I was a get-smart kid with their quirky humor and 007 type of tactics. I do think Kathleen," I believe his wife, "and I will go see this since you guys recommended it. Thanks, TG Geeks, Keith and Ben, on Ben's review from Man from U.N.C.L.E. Glad you liked it, and you're not the only person who sort of kind of got that feel to want to see the film."
Exactly.
And again, Missy Gunnels-Catano wrote, "I'm like you. I was born in the 60s, but way too young to watch most of the shows or remember them. But I do know of them. Glad this one is good."
And I remember Man from U.N.C.L.E., and I remember in the first grade, we playing out in the sand, and everybody wanted to be Kuryakin. You know, he was the Russian.
Everyone wants to be Kuryakin. They didn't want to be Solo.
No. Anyway, it's
interesting.
So yeah, but that was after the series had been going for a couple of years.
Oh, cool. And then, in regards to last week's episode, which featured part 1 of the Origin Beyond the Impact interviews, Andrew Ian, who plays Quinn in the first part of Beyond the Impact, he commented, "Don't know how you guys did it. Call it the magic of showbiz, but I felt like I was right there with you during the entire BTI cast interview episode. Great job. Love you guys. Love your shoes." Yeah, we were wearing matching Converse. They're pretty far out.
Yeah, they were pretty cool.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, Andrew was there. So he's just
he's just being
you
a
just
goof.
have to know Andrew. The man is like a force of nature. He's impossible. And then Tina Lambert wrote, "You guys rule. Thanks again so much. So honored." Well, we were equally honored. And then James Starks wrote, "What a wonderful episode, guys. Again, thank you for your magic Feb series. Onward and upward." Totally cool.
Yeah.
And then lastly, going back to Man from U.N.C.L.E., a good friend of Keith's and mine, Bill Hensley. He wrote, "Great review, Ben. I was not planning on seeing this, but now I think I will. Cheers." Hey, I'm glad I could turn you on to that, Bill. That made me enormously happy.
Yeah.
So, and of course, we've also had quite a few thank yous from the cast and the crew, BTI, and seriously, and
yeah,
it's hard not to get emotional about this,
because it was such an incredible experience for us to be with the cast and crew of BTI and be welcomed the way we were. I mean, it really was. It was it was a moment to cherish always.
Yeah. We'll talk more about that in a little bit.
And it certainly was our pleasure.
Yeah.
And we should thank you for allowing us to be a part of that gathering.
Yes. And last but not least, we had a few tweets, retweets, and favorites on Twitter. One in particular, Jim Eves. You want to tell us about that one?
He is the director of a horror comedy called Neighbors from Hell. And he had tweeted to us that we should be talking about this. And this Neighbors from Hell, it's a new film that he's doing, and it's starring none other than Colin Baker. And the Twitter
Sounds rather appropriate.
Yeah, it could be interesting. And the Twitter account that it came from is at @NFHell_movie. So check it out. There's more information to come. Stay tuned. As soon as we get more information, we'll talk some more about it. And just a reminder that the Facebook profile for TG Geeks is our account to host our TG Geeks webcast page. So that, just so you know, that is the account for the TG Geeks webcast page. So if you go over to the webcast page and like the page, that would be great. And if you like our show, or even if you dislike it, you can comment on our Facebook page at TG Geeks Webcast, or our YouTube episodes, or at tggeeks.com. And you could receive a shout out on a future episode. Or you can call our listener feedback line and we'll play your comment on air like we did last week at 469 TG Geeks. That's 469-844-3357.
And we love voicemail.
Yes. That way we can comment on it.
This is Mark Biaggi, and you're listening to the Two Gay Geeks webcast. You name it, they'll talk about it.
Okay, we got to talk a little bit more about this incredible weekend that we had down in San Diego.
Yeah, it was really, it truly was incredible.
One thing we didn't talk about too much, before the interview started, Jeff Patton was giving a little speech about the importance of this project and how they've got this Kickstarter plan. And at one point, he then acknowledged us and said something which
that just blew me away.
It completely and totally blew me away. First, he thanked us for finding Origin Beyond the Impact and for providing you, Keith, for providing the first unsolicited review of the show, and then commenting about how we got it. We understood what it is that he was trying to go for. That thrilled him. I mean, he was just happy that he got some kind of unsolicited review. Whether anybody liked it or hated it, he didn't care. He was just happy that somebody commented, but the fact that we got it really meant a lot. And then the part that threw me totally for a loop was that they had been getting maybe about 250 hits on Vimeo until we did the review, and then we interviewed both him and Mark Biaggi, and he said that, and his wife Tatiana, who you heard in the part 1 interviews, she's the one who keeps a very close watch on the Vimeo the Vimeo count, and said that it shot up to over 2,500.
That was incredible. I thought, really?
I mean, are we responsible for that? He maintains that we are.
Yeah, the review, and it maybe partially for the review that we did on our website. I also posted that on IMDb, and so that may have had something to do with it.
That might have helped.
But the review was honest, and it was one of those things. And I think we talked about it last week. Talked about it with, I think Mark and Jeff as well. That we'd just been doing some research for our interview with Mark Biaggi, and
that's how we found it.
We found
decided
BTI,
to watch it,
and we watched it, on Friday night. And Saturday morning, I woke up with the chickens, and I said, "I've got to write a review of this thing," and I did, and there you go.
It was So the fact that everybody has been so unbelievably gracious to us. I mean, once we got to the house, seriously, a lot of people were just kind of bowing at us, and Mike, who again is the assistant director, who you heard in this second part, came right in and said, "Love you guys, we're huge fans," and it just kept coming as more and more people were showing up. It was so funny how everybody was like making a line to want to introduce themselves to us, and I mean, I felt enormously flattered by that.
Like, wow. Who are these people?
I know. It'll be so.
And then we finally figure out who they all are.
Well, some of them we didn't know because they were sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But there were some like Travis, who plays
Will
Shepherd. He walks up to me and introduces himself, and I said, "Yeah, I know who you are." Or same thing with David Wagner, who plays Alexi. He says, "Hi, I'm David Wagner." He says, "Oh, yeah, I'm Ben Raggington. I know who you are."
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like I really was in the presence of celebrity during this entire time. And now regarding this second interview, again, these are people that have just been cast.
Yep.
They
haven't been on screen yet. They haven't even started shooting yet.
No, they haven't started shooting yet. They're still hammering out parts of the script. One of them did have a commercial. That much I know. Or he was in a movie. I think he had a small part in a movie. In any case, a lot of these people are just really just picked off the street to audition or whatever process was involved. Some of them I think were just found off Facebook because they had that look.
Yeah, that's a story that in the interview. If you listen to the interview. Yeah.
So these people, granted, as they were kind of quiet, I think because a lot of them really don't have anything to tell at the moment. But I can guarantee you, each one of these individuals were absolutely incredible and amazing to talk to, both before the interview and during, and to be able to just sit and just talk to them about this project, as well as Jeff turning around and saying, "Oh no," and just pointing to us and saying, "You guys are a part of this family now."
Yeah, that was great.
I mean, that was just one of the most beautiful moments. I don't know. You have anything else to add to that?
I don't think so. It was an incredible experience. We're still on a high 2 weeks later, and we hope you enjoyed the interview, and hopefully we will have more to come as soon as they start filming and get ready to go.
And we'll definitely be doing more one-on-one interviews with specifics of the cast.
Yep.
So we'll be doing that, and of course, please do continue to check the article for updates to the information we publish. There will also be a link to the Kickstarter campaign as soon as it officially gets published, as well as links to the cast members' social media contacts and anything else we can come up with.
There you go. All right. That's our sound for news.
Yes, and as
for this week,
as alluded to just a little bit ago, we had the genuine pleasure of being able to see what I think has got to be one of the best movies this year. That's Man from U.N.C.L.E.
It was great. I loved it.
Holy cow. You can read my review on it. I mean, I really just waxed poetically on this film, and that's on our website, tggeeks.com. But in a nutshell, I think you and I really were of same mind on this, and that is the whole 60s stylizing.
Yeah.
I mean, everything about it.
How many times did I lean over and I said, "Oh my God, they got the music right. Oh, look at that phone.
I know.
That chair. My God. And the colors.
The production values were dead on.
It was so 60s. It was almost like it seriously had been filmed in 1965.
It felt like it had actually been filmed in 1965, but with 2015 filming technology and sensibilities and all that. But the gags that were in this
Oh my
movie.
gosh, there
I
were
mean,
a couple.
some of the action sequences, for one, do these split panel shots, which had this ridiculous 60s vibe, something you might almost expect out of like one of the earliest of James Bond films. And what was so beautiful about it is that how it could keep the pace going. You could see multiple points of view while not taking away from what was actually happening overall. Little gimmicks like that. And then there were other times where they reduced us to outright hysterics.
Oh, one in particular.
There is one scene in particular that
and the whole audience
howling.
howling.
Yes. And the funny thing is that in everyday life, there would be nothing funny about this. In fact, it would be deadly serious and horribly somber. And yet, the way it was done this movie had everybody literally screaming with laughter. We had a pretty good turnout in the theater for this preview, and everybody was just howling on it. It was fantastic, and I have to tip my hat to Henry Cavill, who did a phenomenal at channeling Robert Vaughn as Napoleon Solo.
Absolutely.
It was fantastic. And Armie Hammer gave... It's hard to say because I've only seen the more recent Man from U.N.C.L.E. material with Robert Vaughn and David McCallum. So it's hard for me to really tell because in the later stuff, David McCallum doesn't come across very much as Russian. He really comes off as British. But Armie Hammer gave a very, very Russian-type performance, and I have to wonder if Tatiana's going to see this. I kind of would like to get her take on it, actually. Yeah. But it was still a great deal of fun to watch the chemistry between the two, and I'm hoping that this movie does well because I want it to succeed.
Yeah, so we can have a second one.
I want this to become a franchise, and I think Henry Cavill would like it too. It would certainly give him a nice departure from having to play that very dark Superman. Is there anything else about that movie that you wanted to add?
No, I just go see it. Please go see it.
Absolutely. I really want to see this movie do well in the box office.
Yep.
So lastly, I want to give a shout out. I did this last week and I'm going to do it again today to the Facebook page The Gay Geek. And you can find them at facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek, all one word. And giving a shout out to them because they are allowing us to post our episodes on that page as well. So I want to give a special thanks.
Thank you
for allowing us to do that.
Yes. Up next week, I don't know.
I have no idea.
We'll just
find out when we get there.
Yep. Join us for the roller coaster ride that is TG Geeks Webcast, and we'll find out what we have next time. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page, as well as the cast members we interviewed. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. From TG Squared Studios in Phoenix, Arizona, I am Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. I bid you peace.
Cheers.